In this episode of Watch Time, we'll be talking about video content, how in 2024 there's so much of it, and how you can cut through the noise with the 4 E's right after this. Welcome back to Watch Time, everybody. So on this episode, it's 2024, and there's no secret that there is more video content out than ever before.
Absolutely. You cannot get through social media or anywhere online without it.
It's crazy, thinking, I think since the pandemic, it's like video creation has even doubled.
I would say at least, yes.
So with that being said, the thing that's harder today than maybe pre-pandemic is how do you cut through the noise? Because I feel like pre-pandemic, if you made a video and you pushed it out there wasn't a lot of people doing that, so you were getting a lot more eyeballs. People were, the retention was better. More people were watching it. There was probably more viral videos that were happening, and which we don't agree with, but that's a whole other thing. What can you do to stand out? Because with all of this noise, with all these videos that are out there, it's like, how do you get people to pay attention to yours? And what can you do to make your videos better so they can stand out?
And it really comes down to content. What are your messages? What's your content? And so Bill and I have talked, and we feel like there's really 4 areas if you really want to focus on video content and really getting the most out of your video and being able to stand out from the crowd.
Yeah, so we have named it the 4 E's of video, trademark pending. And it's education, it's enticing, emotion, and entertainment, yes. And so those 4 areas are going to be what you need to look at. Does your video have one of those or all of those?
It's really like the 4 purposes of video. Again, we always want to take a really strategic approach. And so we believe that your video should serve one of these 4 purposes in order to really be effective.
Yeah. And I think with that, to kind of sum this up, because maybe you're hearing this and being like, what do you mean educational? What do you mean emotional, enticing, entertaining? Really, if you look at any content that's out there, it really serves these purposes. Some of them are combined. But really, education, video should be out there to educate your prospects, your audience. Entertainment, you should be entertaining them. They should be having a good time or enjoying watching. Enticing, you're enticing in action. And then with the final one, emotion, you're invoking some type of emotional response and getting people to buy in.
Yeah, and so this is kind of a check when you're coming up with some messaging for your video. Is it fitting one of these purposes? And that's how you're going to be the most successful. And
so you might be thinking at this point, okay, well, that's great. How do I go about doing this? How do I take this information and then apply it to what I'm currently doing? And I think the way you do that is you can either watch the video and watch through it and find out, are you teaching somebody something? Is somebody, will somebody find this entertaining and laugh at it? Or maybe find it something that's really pulling them in? Are you, do you have a good call to action? Are you enticing them to do something? Or are you trying to drive them to a website? Or looking at, with the emotional value, are you really trying to invoke an emotion? Or is it something that you're telling a story that's getting people to really connect? And if those things aren't on there, then it's time to start going back to your pre-production and really start thinking about, okay, well, how do I better do that? And you can go back and do that. You can hire a video production company like us. You could hire a strategist, or you can even just have friends and family or customers watch and give you feedback. Because I think at the end of the day, if you're not doing these things, then you're really just creating noise.
Yeah, and it really should be, from the beginning of your video strategy, you should really be looking at these things before you even create any content. What's your marketing goal? Are you trying to sell more of a product? Are you a nonprofit trying to inspire and entice people to join your cause? So really, what is the purpose in putting out this video content in the first place?
So what you're saying is it all connects to pre-production and strategy.
Yes.
Who would have thought that? So that's
new concept that we've brought up here.
I know. It's you've never heard it before, video strategy. It's a thing.
Yeah.
But I'd say the biggest thing with this is what you don't want is you don't want someone to watch your content. And anybody who's watching, I know you guys have definitely done this. You've watched, everybody has watched a video and gotten done with it and been like, wow, well, that's a minute and a half I'll never get back.
It's a waste of my life. Yep.
Yeah,
that is not the response you want.
No, it's bad for your brand first of all, because it looks like you're not planned and organized. It's bad for I guess, trust and like buy-in, because now customers aren't going to want to watch your next video if it is a good video.
Right. They're going to kind of just like label you as like not important content even when they see it next time.
Oh, and then your solution isn't getting out to them. I do think like at the goal of all this, you know, and this is one thing I really like, this is like near and dear to me, the goal of our podcast here, the goal of our company, Flex Media, the goal of what our clients do and the people we work with, at the core, we all just want to help people. We want to like help them with our business, want to help businesses grow. We want to be solution providers. And I think that's why this is so important, these 4 E's, because if your content's not doing any of these things, you're not really helping your customers. And ultimately, that's what you should be doing.
Yeah, you're just kind of sucking up their time with content that will not resonate with them and, you know, maybe make them kind of mad at you.
So go back through, check out your last few videos, see if it passes this test. If you're creating some new videos, take a look at your script, take a look at your pre-production. Does it meet these? And then look at your competitors. Are they doing this? Are they just pushing out noise because the algorithm likes, we hear this all the time, the algorithm likes video, so we just got to push video out, even if it's just cell phone video where we're just staring at something and talking to it, or even if it's just some random clip that we can throw out because it's going to help boost our stats.
Yeah, and I mean, you might have part of the story there. You know, maybe you explain a couple things if you're doing an educational video, but you know, maybe you're leaving people hanging and you're not really like seeing that through. So even if your intention is there, and you fall short on the execution of it, you know, that can also be a fail. So that's why you really want to start from the very beginning in your video planning, and you know, make sure that you're really solid with these purposes up front, and all your content is supporting that.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to get some buy-in from, like we said before, like your team, your customers, your family, because this really is, these 4 things are subjective to some extent. You know, like what I think is entertaining, you may not think is entertaining, or what I think is, you know, emotional, you may not think is emotional. So try and get some buy-in and see, and ask, you know, like, what did you think of that? Like, did you find that funny? Like, do you feel like you feel for for our company and what we're trying to do? Like, well, you know, ask them if the goal was to teach them a complex product, or at least give them the overview, like, ask that person, like, can you tell me how this product works? And that's really a great test to see if your content's passing. Yeah,
and if you're still really confused, you can reach out to us for help. We'd love to assist with putting together a video strategy for you.
Yep, so remember the 4 E's. You have entertainment, you have enticing, you have emotion, and you have education.
You did good. You didn't even look at the paper. We got it down.
We got it down.
Yeah.
So look at those 4 E's, and if, like Kathy said, if you have any questions, reach out to us. Thanks for listening to Watch Time. We hope you guys enjoyed today's episode.
And remember to like and subscribe so you don't miss future episodes.
And if you want your question answered on our podcast, go to flexmediacle.com/watchtime.